What's up, y'all? I'm Tej, and I'm not so collected. I'm more of the crazy and unfiltered one.
And this is another episode of A Crazy Little Thing Called
The podcast that dives headfirst into the craziness of millennial life.
Welcome to the shit show, guys.
Oh, hey. I'm
Hello.
Tej. What's your name?
I'm Natalie.
Oh, are you lost?
Sometimes I am, but today I think I know where I'm going or where I'm at.
Oh.
Who are you again?
So in my mind, whenever I was thinking, I'm like, how am I gonna get it? But I didn't expect you to actually answer. I was just gonna talk to an imaginary person. But thank you for going along on that journey. And thank you all for joining us on another episode of A Crazy Little Thing Called the podcast where we dive headfirst into the beautiful, complicated, and sometimes crazy world that is millennial life. As I said earlier, I am Tej, and my lovely co-host who has introduced herself as well is, who are you again?
Yes, I'm Natalie, you guys, and good morning. Happy Saturday. Well, for you, but if you're listening, probably happy Wednesday or good afternoon, something like that.
Somewhere around them times. Who knows?
I know. Well, as I was telling you, I feel a little energized this morning. I don't know how long it's gonna last, but like I said, I feel like I got a decent, night's rest. And I got my coffee this morning, I had my breakfast, and so I'm just feeling
I have not had breakfast, but I have had coffee. Cheers. Woo! To my, or is it coffee? I don't know. But I don't know. I feel like maybe in my old age, I've been actually doing really well for the past, I'm going to say month, at getting up early. I've been getting up at 5:15 every morning. And it is the weirdest thing for me. Yeah, I don't know. And it right? Not granted, I didn't get up at 5:15 a day. I got up at 8:30 because that's what time my alarm was set. But during the work week, my alarm is set at 5:15. And I've been getting up, laying in bed until about 5:45. So at first I was, then I would get up, brush my teeth, and then have coffee. But then I realized that if I got a good hangnail just got. If I drink coffee too close to taking my ADHD meds, oh baby, I am on Lil Jack
double
mode.
Caffeinated.
I am Jack from The Incredibles. And then I can't sleep at night. So I've had to stop drinking coffee in the morning. And when I take my ADHD meds, I don't usually take them on weekends. But it's just been great sleep, waking up refreshed. I feel like a whole new person. It's been nice.
Okay. Yeah, it's just, is this what 30s looks like? Like just prioritizing health and just, being chipper. But I'm telling you, I've been preaching those slow morning starts for forever. I said, you are going to go crazy with 16 million thousand alarms that you just keep snoozing. My Jesus. That gives me more anxiety. It's just kind of it increases my cortisol levels in the morning.
Yeah, probably that. Maybe that's honestly what it is too. That now that I don't have that, I don't know. But it's been nice. It's been nice to actually just wake up and all that stuff. So yeah.
Oh, good. What was I supposed to say?
I was saying, will you rather jump in? Because I did have why'd you pause? I know I'm over there stuttering.
Because I was trying
I thought you were about to say something.
I'm about to say
I do have a melanin moment for the episode. Which, as I've been thinking about this too, that's another thing. As much as I've been getting up earlier and stuff like that, I feel like my thoughts at night have come back and where they used to go away. So now I'm thinking about random shit at night, and so I've been thinking about podcasts. And so I'm something about the melanin moment I want to rework for next season. I really need to stop talking with my hands so much. Rework for next season. So we'll put a pin in that for us to talk whenever you get back from living La Vida Loca. But yes, my lovely melanin moment is actually something that I just forgot. Maybe I should have took my ADHD meds because the memory's gonna be bad. Damn. Also, random. Do you know how hard it was for me last episode not to curse? I don't know why I chose not to curse when Cassidy was on it. I don't know why. I was trying to be very PG, but I didn't.
That's what I was about to say. Why was that a thing?
I have no clue. I don't know. That was just in my mind. Anyway, yes, melanin moment. Shit, what was it? I had it. I'd stayed up late thinking about it. Not last night. One of these nights this week. I'm almost like, should I come back to it? Because it involved you, but I don't remember what. I know. I was trying to be a good person. I don't know. I think we might just have to come back to it afterwards. Them cars still out there?
No, the same car passed by another time, but then they parked, but they're walking to that new house on the street, the one that I say the
Mm-hmm.
cops be going at all the time.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they got little dresses on and hats, like they don't look like they're from here. But why would you not just park like there's nobody in their driveway? I am nosy this morning, but I gotta be nosy, gotta stay alert.
Mm-hmm. Especially with your child outside in the wilderness.
I know, that's what I'm like. But Bella doesn't seem to be like alive, so I'm just like, whatever. But anywho's, well, until
we'll
figure
skip the
out
melanin moment.
what the melanin moment is, how about we catch up and let our listeners know what is on the horizon for each of us. I know you said you want to brunch today?
Yes.
Oh.
So, yes, I am. And it was funny. I was just talking to someone this morning, and I'm like, I feel like I've been on go for like the past few weekends.
You really have. I really will say that.
And it was funny because yesterday I went apartment hunting, and Bree went with me. Like, we were all day. We started at 9:30. We got to the first one, and we technically didn't end until like 3:30. We did take like an hour and a half for lunch, but then afterwards we went out. Like, well, not out. We went to a bunch of places in the area just like to drink and just catch up because we hadn't seen each other in a while. And she was saying, "I'm so proud of you. You've been so social this year." And I'm like, it was one of my goals, but now I'm also like, nigga, rest, please. There's so much shit is coming that I'm just like, ugh. So now I'm like, this brunch is coming, and
it sounds like it's been fun, like, and it's been like from you, like it sounds like it's been fun, and like the people that you've met, totally like fun. I like them, and so yeah,
it's been fun. Love them. They're great people. Today, this brunch, I thought it was just a small brunch because I've been to the person who's hosting its apartment, and it's a 2-bedroom because she lives with her sister. Cool, blah blah blah. But then when she said, because she asked me and Cass, because she's providing all the food and the drinks, but she had sent me and Cassidy a separate group message like, hey, would y'all mind getting a cake for all the September birthdays for the brunch so we can sing happy birthday? Cool. And I was like, yeah, no, that's totally fine. I said, Cassidy, yeah, you do that. Just cash at me how much I need to split it with you. But then I asked, how many people do we need to get a cake for? And she said, well, 17 said they're coming.
I'm thinking,
and in my mind, I said
maybe 10 max.
I said 17 are gonna fit in your apartment, and she said, "Well, I'm sure only about 14 are gonna come because those people that say they're coming and then don't." And I'm still like, 14 people. And so now I'm like, okay, do I want to go and be in it? So it might just be a guest appearance, giving friend of the show vibes, and then just dip. Because as much as I've gotten better at my social anxiety is still high. And granted, I think I know most of the people because she sent the list to everyone of who's coming. But I'm also just like socially drained, especially after yesterday. That I'm like, Because what was your actual question?
No, I was just saying what's
that started this.
I was saying what's been up. Yeah, maybe you should have took your ADHD medicine. Anywho,
Maybe.
I was just
no, because you said what's coming up, and you said, because don't you have a brunch today? Yes, okay, that's where this came from. I was like, did I just go off on a random tangent?
No, it's so interesting too, because this kind of ties into the topic for today, and obviously the topic is mine, so I will shy to that for right now, but shy away from that for right now. But on my end, obviously, this time of year, I love this time of year, just in general, the Ember months. It just makes me happy because, it starts off with a bang with my birthday. My brother's too.
So I prefer all the burrs, not the embers, because Octoember is not one of them. So I do like the burrs.
Octoember.
Yeah, the burrs, man. I think those are my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, I love all the burrs.
But the Uaries all right too. I don't mind the Uaries.
Yeah, but they don't hit like the birds, especially in. Oh, you're right. They're cold because we're still hot right now until we kind of get
I wish it would get
to
cold.
October, November area. But no, I'm excited for this time of year, just like with the holidays in general. Okay, Fly, just
There's a
disrespect.
fly. I saw it. I thought it was on my screen. And I was like, wait.
Anywho,
It was
reel it
ready
back
for
in.
you.
So I'm excited about this month. Obviously, where we're recording now, my birthday, it is a week and a day away. So love that for me. We'll be hitting the big 31. Honestly, I'm so looking forward to just not doing anything. And I am really excited about that.
I didn't see that going there.
I'm really excited about that. I think that comes with, like I said, the 30s. But
When you say not doing anything, do you mean for your birthday or in the year of 30?
Oh, no. Not doing
okay, I was like, what?
Birthday.
Oh, okay.
But
okay.
I was also, I don't know if I saw this on TikTok or somewhere, but I kind of do this, but kind of not. But I think I want to be more intentional. But people were saying, like, view your birthday as if you view the new year, like how you do resolutions. Let that be your start of your new resolutions. And I think, I kind of want to take that and run with it. And so I want to see applying that this year, kind of what that would look like. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
That's what
and then
I've always done, because my birthday and New Year's are 6 months apart. So it's always my 6-month check-in. So I'm like, I always say I have my goals for the year of 2024 or whatever, but then I have my goals for the year like of 30. Yeah. Of 31. So it's like I get that little check-in to see, right. We got a little ways for that, to check in to see like how I'm progressing and stuff like that. And one of my goals for 2024 was to be more social, which is obviously happening. But then one of my goals for the year 3031 was actually to
3031
my social, for 31. I really got to get better at that. Was to just, as much as I feel like I was being more social, like I actually wanted to just live more, which is why like I'm currently on my little social media break. And so I'm like not on, what was it? I want to be social in real life, not social on media. Ooh, that just came to my mind. It's taking a break. And so after I move, which is in the end of the burrs. Oh no, December. No, end of November, whatever. Yeah, we still got the December. So yeah, that has been fun. And yeah, I do that too. The goals for the year of birth too. Because it's a good little reflection moment.
Just kind of like intentionalize it all and put it all down paper, all that good stuff. So planning on doing that. And then obviously this will be my 3rd year. Just call me a Trinidadian at this point. Going to Miami for Carnival. I'm so excited. I'm jealous. That will be literally the week after my birthday. Yeah, it's always just right there. So
really?
Because I leave that next week. Like
what day?
I leave the 10th. So my birthday's on a Sunday, so that's why I say the next week, because it's like next week. Got it. Looking forward to that. But then also I'm looking forward just to the holidays this year. Obviously, too, I have my little bundle of joy, Kato, and he's a little bit older. Not my own bundle of joy.
I was like, announcement?
I was talking to Marcus earlier this week, and he said something like that. He was like, I was going to tell you congratulations. Like, are you pregnant? Because I was telling him something. We were just having a conversation. I was like, don't wish that on me right now.
Okay. Not right now before Carnival. Okay.
That is blasphemy. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to all these months and whatnot, and just kind of chilling, hanging out, just being with family, friends, enjoying my time. Kind of like you said, just being more social, but in a more impactful, present way. So
it feels great. It feels great.
It does.
Have you I don't know if this has been said on the show, have you confirmed your January plans, and have you said it on the show for public knowledge?
I said it on the show, and I don't think anyone who I
Oh, I
care.
thought you were about
Like,
to say you don't think it's gonna happen anymore. I was like,
no. So
okay.
obviously I told you and my mom, and
Mm.
whatnot, but I haven't told like the group just yet because I wasn't
Oh,
going to
you
tell
don't
them
have to
until.
say it on here.
No, no, no. I wasn't going to tell them until like it actually happens because I feel like I just talk about it so much, but
Mm-hmm. Mm.
no, it is
Okay, it's
actually
still happening.
still
Okay, good.
happening.
I'm
So
excited
I'm
for
looking
that.
forward to
That's it.
that. I am too. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
big things
I'm not gonna give
coming.
away too much.
Yeah, let's look at us being all secretive when
Exciting
it's not.
times. Exciting times. I know. And then I'm ready because January is when I go to Black Ski Weekend. I'm really excited. I've never been skiing.
Oh
And
yeah.
MLK Weekend, we are going to Toronto, which I don't know why I thought it was in Calgary, but it's in Toronto. And that's going to be interesting. I'm very excited to be around a bunch of blackness. We've already put our deposits down on our rooms. And yeah, I'm excited. And
That's
which I guess is probably not good now. My other bestie is engaged officially, so that is
I
exciting. We're in
know.
wedding mode. And she had been saying this has been coming for forever, and I was just like, okay, yeah. Because when we went, I know this is totally off topic, but we haven't caught up in forever. The week of Memorial Day, is that the one that? No, Labor Day.
Labor
Memorial
Day.
Day is in May. Labor Day is in September. We went into the movies and we went and ate afterwards, and she was telling me. Funny enough, okay, you remember Kayla, right? Kendra's friend from back in
Okay.
Austin,
Mm-hmm.
just got married.
Oh, she did.
Okay,
I feel
well,
like
she
she
just
had
got
gotten
married.
married a while
Her
ago.
No, she's just been with that guy for forever,
Oh, because she has a baby
ever.
by
They
him,
finally
right?
got yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. They just got married the weekend of Labor Day. So Kayla's now husband and Paris's fiance are best friends, and he was the best man in the wedding.
Oh, that's cute.
And they got married at the Hard Rock in Cabo.
Did they
And I was
really?
like, I was on social media still then, and so I saw her posting it, and it was on the beach, and I was like, this looks so familiar, but I didn't know Paris went,
Oh, she
and
had
so
went.
then when I saw
I'm
her,
closing my door, but I can hear you because I think I know who these people are, and
mm-hmm.
they come into my door.
Oh, okay, but they yeah, so I was talking to her, and I was like, oh, you went, blah blah, blah. And I was like, where was it? And she said it was in Cabo, and I was like, was it at a resort? And she was like, yeah, and I was like, which one? And she said the Hard Rock, and I was like, oh shit, that's literally what me and Natalie went literally a year ago almost. And
And
so I
I
was like,
bet it was
small world.
pretty too. Like, I wonder where they had it at.
Because that's what I'm saying. Remember when we were there, we saw the wedding on the beach that they had, and it
Uh-huh.
was on the beach. So I'm pretty sure it was in there, probably that same area,
Well, so there was two
same
because
little area.
remember there was a wedding on the beach,
Oh
but then they had
yeah, the
like an Indian
reception under the
wedding.
thingy. Oh, but did we
Uh-huh.
ever actually see the Indian wedding ceremony? We just saw all their parties.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure their reception was probably in that outdoor courtyard area where
Mhm.
we saw that one event. But I did see like they actually walked down the aisle on sand
Oh,
because I
okay.
saw videos, like I said, from Kayla because I do follow her still, and I was like, small world.
Okay, so
But anyway, I think we've on a tangent. Uh-oh.
oh Jesus, like these people are like at my door and they're ringing, but they're coming to this whatchamacallit. Okay, words,
What?
Natalie. They're at my door under the carport, like the French doors, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not about to
Okay.
open it. I'm busy right now. But they ring the doorbell, but I'm pretty sure it's going to go to the house because Ingati is in the house. So she's going to go out. But I'm pretty sure these people are Jehovah's Witnesses because right when I said like they had stopped and they went to that house and they parked, I saw them
Mm-hmm.
again walking to another house. And then right when I was getting
Mm.
up to close my door,
They were coming towards you.
yes, they're at my door right now. That's why I'm trying to like be like.
It's
But
okay.
anyway,
You don't have to be quiet because just don't answer the door.
I know, but
Or
like
do
my
like those videos and act like you deaf. That's funny. Okay, tangent. Yes, get back to you.
okay, anywho, so let's jump right on in. I can kind of give you guys a tidbit as you know what the plan of this episode will be. Okay, now they're walking away.
He's like,
I,
okay, I can breathe.
I'm all like sidetracked. Like, get away from me.
Go away from my door. Did they went away, or they went to their front door?
I think they went away. Like, she walking up here with a cane, and I'm like,
A
uh,
cane? Oh, she said
uh,
she is devoted to her Lord and Savior.
and don't get me wrong, I love
Mm-hmm.
that for you, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
good. I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
And on a Saturday morning,
Mm-hmm.
leave me alone. Anywho,
Right.
okay.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
as we mentioned earlier, this is a me episode, and I feel like I feel like as we're going, further and further in our podcast journey, it's so hard to come up with topics because I'm like, did we talk about this already?
Right.
Or like, did we cover this?
Right.
But I think obviously we had shared a little bit of what this topic is like about, but I don't think we've ever did like a full topic on it. And I feel like now we have more stuff
Ooh.
to add to it. And so I don't really know what
Okay.
category this goes under because it's kind of a little bit of all. But I'm going
Adulting.
to title this this episode, Is This a Good Mix? Okay.
Okay.
So in a sense, is this a good mix in regards to, is it okay to mix business with friends, with family, with love, like all of that stuff? And so I think this, like I said, we've talked about this. We've touched on different topics within this large topic before, but I think I have more tangent questions in regards to diving a little bit deeper, but then also taking it a little further back into our childhood. But with that being said, before we dive in, do you want to take a break or are you good?
I'm good. Are you
Okay.
good?
Nope. I
From
am
our combo
good.
from before we started?
Yeah.
I'm still good. My coffee empty, but I ain't got no more coffee to brew, so.
Oh, I still have some coffee. All right. Well, so jumping in with it, like I said, I wanted to take it back to childhood and just recall, like, basically business, how I'm defining it is anything, like important. And so obviously in childhood, the business would be our schoolwork or like getting a project done or, stuff like that. And then as we go, more and more, but can you recall like your experience, when you had to do group projects and like, were you one of the ones that like enjoyed group projects or would you prefer like working alone or like, did you prefer like working with your friends or just like with random people? Kind of give me your experience and your take on things.
So, obviously, that is a very long time to think back to. However, I don't think I've ever enjoyed group projects, like from elementary to Jesus college, because, and I guess now thinking about it now, I guess I always have had terrible anxiety to an extent because I felt like the minute a project was announced and there was a group project, you had to pick your teams and stuff. Like, I don't know why I just always went into overdrive, like mentally.
Yeah.
Because then I always felt like, am I going to get paired with the right people? Like, are they going to pull their weight? I don't want to have to do this. And then even though most of the project probably was my parents, it was still just like, but no, I don't think I've ever I can't think of a time, at least when I was younger, where I was excited about this group project. I think I always preferred to work on my own just because I didn't have to depend on other people for, their portion of the project or if it wasn't right. And I think that probably became as we got older, like maybe like middle school, because that's when projects got real. When you were in middle school. Like remember the Rube Goldberg projects and shit? Those, I don't think I ever wanted to work with people because I just wanted to like just do it myself. I don't want to wait on you to get your part done so that I can complete mine and then we review it all together. So I don't think that I ever have. I think I've always just preferred a solo. Me get it done that way. I'm not held up by your timeline of when you want to do stuff.
That's how my experience was too. I feel like overall, I prefer to work alone just because I know what I want to do. I know how I want to execute it. And it's just like you said, I'm not on anybody else's timeline. I'm just on mine. I think though, I guess like our group of friends, like back then, I feel like
Hmm.
we were different in the sense of I would rather pick my friends than not my friends because I knew we had the same work ethic. And so I will
Fair.
say, but I think that's just kind of like an exception to it. Like that's not normally
Hmm.
how it works. But
Not
I
at all.
feel like with that being said, especially like in middle school, high school, like my experience with
Hmm.
working on groups, if I had the choice to pick my friends, I would because
Hmm.
we have similar like styles with
And we
approach
were
to work.
already always together, so it made it easier.
Exactly.
But I
Exactly.
also don't recall a lot of, now that I'm thinking about it, like
Classes.
projects where you got to choose your partners. It was always like they
So
assigned you by your
that's
desk
what I
number or
that's
something.
what me too. And so that's what I was about to say too. And I was like, I kind of preferred that because it takes
Mm,
out the
the
like, oh,
pressure.
I have to choose my friend. And so if they're just
Hmm.
grouping you, like I feel
Hmm.
like I'm in a better position to assert like what my expectations are out of y'all
True.
because I'm not like friends with y'all. Like we are
Right.
solely operating under this is business. We need to get this done.
Business. Literally. Literally. And I think
So
it's funny
I
because I
feel like,
think we were always, like speaking you and I, like we're always in honors classes. So it
yeah,
also did kind of make it easier too, because at least we knew like there was like a level of like care in
hair.
the class. Like you wanted to
Hmm.
be here, which is actually funny. Slight segue. I was just talking to my manager who has a daughter who's 4 years old. They have the test to get into GT classes now. Did we at that age? Did you test, or was it just like they observed you in the class and then they moved you up? I
Yeah,
don't recall having to
like
take a
GT
test.
classes. Yeah, they just moved you up. They observed you and moved you up,
Hmm.
and like
Yeah,
I
now
feel
they have
like
to
the
take
only time we had to take
tests.
a test was for Odom, but that was just getting
Yeah,
into
to get in.
school. Period. So
Yeah, I thought that
that's
was really weird that they do that now because also I have terrible test anxiety, so I'm like, shit, that would fuck me up.
right. The
I
test
could be
got a
smart as
good
hell and then take that and they'd be
representation.
like, mm-mm, thank you. Okay, sorry,
Yeah.
slight segue, but that literally just happened on Thursday, and I was like, yeah, okay, back to you.
No, I definitely I feel like my experience, like just kind of to sum it up, just with working with friends in that regards, like when we were younger, was slightly positive. Now, taking the
Mm,
same lens to it, but in an opposite way, as we've gotten older, obviously we were having jobs and whatnot, but these are not like our careers. This is still just like
right.
jobs or whatnot. So, what was your experience just with working like those jobs, like while you were in high school and college, and interacting with coworkers outside of like the professional business relationship, and again just high school college, like when we were working jobs, like what was your
Mhm.
relationships with your coworkers?
So, high school, the only job I had was working at Budweiser with my dad, and I was the youngest person there, so I didn't interact outside of the job with any of my coworkers except for my dad. Um, so I didn't really have that experience of being able to talk to people because, again, I was the youngest person. I only came and worked like what 2 hours a day. It was after high school. I would just go work a couple hours and then make my was it I think I was getting paid like $10 an hour, which is crazy in high school. Why wouldn't I, like, thinking back on it now, why didn't I want to work more hours while I could?
Right.
But then college, so I was Starbucks, and during that time I actually did hang out with my coworkers a lot outside of it. But it and that was good. I think because our store was so small, we didn't have a lot of staff. Like there was maybe 8 of us
Hmm.
maybe that worked, from morning to night. So we were all just close because it was so few of us. But I would say like once I left there, I didn't keep in contact with many of them, which is
Yeah,
it's been kind of a recurring thing. Like once I leave, it's like bye from that
because
era,
it's
which we'll get
kind of
into the
like
next
they're
phase. But
just friends with you for that season, but then that makes me think it's kind of like a different level of friendship
a
that you have
friendship,
with your
hmm
coworkers. It's like a
yeah,
friend, but not like a friend in that
yeah,
sense.
and that it's weird because I don't know. Up until recently, that's kind of been the thing. Whenever I leave a job, even like if we hung out outside of work, whatever, it's like I just didn't keep in contact with them. And I guess
Yeah.
because it's almost like I don't want to say pledging, but it's almost like you're trauma bonded with them because of the work experience, that's what brings y'all together. So once that's gone, you're kind of like, yeah,
That's literally what my mom, I was running this by her last night, and she was like, misery loves company. And I was like, yes, because you do have
I
much
really think that might be it.
because I feel like a good bit, and tell me if this is your experience too, like when you are kind of crossing that line and becoming a bit more friendly with your coworkers, it's not people that you would normally be friends with if you ran into them.
Not even remotely.
Street. And so,
at least then,
I feel
no.
you working with
Especially
them
Starbucks.
definitely is that like similar interest that just allows for you to like bond quickly.
Yes. Yes.
But like, again, like I said, I feel like it's just a different level of friendship. It's not, yes, I'll hang out with you outside of work, but outside of work, whatever we're doing, we're still talking about work. And so is it really us hanging out outside of work? I guess that's been my experience, like when I was younger, and whatnot. And then like a question that I have with that, had any of those interactions outside of work impacted y'all's interaction inside of work?
Yeah. No, I don't.
Negative way.
I can't think of any negative experiences there. Where it's like someone got into it at work or outside of work, and then now they didn't want to talk at work or something like that. At least not me personally. I feel like I do recall it happening with other people there. Speaking of Starbucks, but I can't think of any negative ones that I've experienced where that has happened. I know there's been plenty of times where maybe the opposite has been like something happened at work. Like, yeah, something happened at work, and not even necessarily like between people, but just like you notice how people like maneuver at work or treat people at work, and you're like, I don't want to hang out with this person outside of work anymore. Like as you kind of get to know them more on a professional, quote unquote, level, it's like it kind of skews your view of what they could be outside, and you're like, I'll just keep my distance from that. So that side of it has happened, but I don't think it's ever happened the opposite for me, at least, to where I saw we were hanging out outside of work, and then now because you, I don't know, got sloppy drunk or something like that, I don't want to talk to you at work. Yeah. I can't think of an experience where that has happened.
Same. I can't think of any like negative experience for like crossing that line. But again, I feel like I don't really cross that line because while yes, I'm friends and I'm hanging outside of work, these people also have never seen me like drunk. They have never seen me like act inappropriately. Like, my friends.
It's always been very professional.
Yes, it's like a professional interaction. So I feel like for me, a consequence of that is definitely positive in the sense of, I don't know, it made the work environment cool to like be in because it made it to where I'm not just, how would I describe it? You know how like servers, and again, I was a server too. You know how servers like you have your go-to like like laughy face and you just all the time. Like somebody could say like, hey, can I get a glass of water? And you're like, absolutely, like sure, I'll get that right for you. It's exhausting. I feel like the consequence of hanging outside of work with some of your coworkers allows for you not to have to do that in an ingenuine way. Okay. Like I feel like it makes it actually genuine. Like I'm actually laughing at you because you're actually funny. Like I'm not
they become a person, not just a coworker.
Yeah. And so
that makes sense.
That's what I would say. For my experience. And like I've had a good bit of jobs where I have like, and again, I feel like we've talked about this, not to go into all of them, but a good bit of jobs that we kind of created groups outside. I feel like my experience is completely different now, but we'll talk about that later. And I feel like your experience is completely different, but in the opposite way. But I kind of like where I'm at. But yeah, we'll save that for later in that regards. I kind of wanted to take a trip down memory lane. But before we kind of hop into the more current and now, as well as just future, why don't we take a quick pause here? And I need to refill my coffee cup, and we will be
I
back.
wish I could. I'm bad. Alrighty, ladies and gents, and everything in between, we are back on this lovely Natalie produced episode, who's taking me
Yes.
on a lovely journey. So let's see where this train's going.
Alrighty. Well, now more so to the current-ish, still kind of in the past, but like more examples of different types of interactions like this. So a good one that comes to my mind is now that we've gotten older, like I said, we've experienced just kind of like working with people and kind of crossing into that line of being friends with them. What about when it comes, and I feel like we've talked about this too, but we don't have to go too deep into it, but living with friends is definitely a business and friends,
Yeah.
mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of, what was your experience with that? Like I said, I feel like we've talked about this, and so we don't have to go too deep into it, but like, I guess what were the pros and cons when it comes to like living with friends?
So what I will say, because yes, I do recall us talking about this, obviously with us living together. Maybe as we were moving out, we did this. That was what, end of
Yeah.
season two? Yeah, we'll go with two. Um, what I will say is living with friends, I think it just more so exposes the friendship. And I think that's something I got
That's a good
from
one.
living with you, because I've lived with friends before and they've all gone terribly besides you. And so I think it just exposes the friendship, which is why ours worked, because I
Yeah.
don't think we had any issues prior. And so it was
Yeah.
easier. We've always been good at we've always tried to be good at communicating. We've grown now in the communication. So I think that's always been a thing of like, we're able to talk if something goes wrong. Whereas in previous situations, I don't think that level of, I don't want to say respect, but that level of maturity maybe was there for when things come up, you were able to communicate them effectively and not allow things to fester, which then, allows the friendship to. So I've lived with, I guess, just 3 friends total. Yeah. I've only lived with 3 friends total. 2 of those did not go well. 1 did. And I think it's because of what I just said. It's like it just exposes the friendship. And so
Yeah.
it's not something that I recommend necessarily, living with friends, unless, like I said, you're able to, prior to living together, have open conversations about just like whatever, so that when that becomes when you live with them and you're put in that capsule and everything is like heightened, you're still able to communicate and process things instead of like letting it blow up and then affecting the friendship.
Yes.
So I think that's my take on living with friends.
100% agree. And that's what I was going to say too, kind of like what I've learned, because you always hear like, don't live with friends, all that good stuff. But it's not necessarily like the person that is the issue or could be the potential problem. It's the dynamic, like, and your ability to communicate. And so I will agree, like, it definitely exposes. And I think that's kind of why we work so well, because for one, we're friends, but then two, like, we were older at that point. And granted, we were still growing in the communication aspect. I definitely was. But it was more so of like us being able to communicate what we needed out of the other person or what we wanted out of the other person, all that good stuff. And so
and I think that's also true. And I don't know if this is where we're about to go next with this, but in working with friends in any capacity too, I think that same thing holds true, is just prior to that, making sure that again, your foundation is good, you're able to communicate, there's a mutual respect and stuff like that between the two, because getting
Right.
into business, literal business with friends can also do the
Thank
exact
you.
same.
You too.
All right now. Can do the exact same thing. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you are we going there? Because I do have.
No, it was the mail lady. She was dropping off packages. And I have my door
Oh,
open.
okay. Oh, right. But yeah, no, I'm saying I don't know if that's part of like one of the questions you have is about business with friends too in an antidote. But because if it is, then I'll wait till you get there and elaborate. But if not,
Yes, pause, because yes, that is. And I think that's why I want to go back into it and then kind of go current and then the future, because it's just like, it's so different now. But I will say the same goes with, so not going into like the working friends now, but like same goes with like living with family. I feel like, and we've talked about this too, but like living with family as a child or younger, it's a little bit a different dynamic than living with, your family as an adult. And me now.
Excuse me.
And I think, it's a testament to like your ability to communicate, your ability just to kind of like say what you want, say what you need, and ask for what you want and ask for what you need. So I feel like a lot of this, like, there's no yes or no on should you cross the line of like intermingling with like friendships, professional, family. It all boils down to your ability to communicate and your level of maturity. But it also boils down to, now that I am older and grown and have the ability to communicate in a bit more effective way, I also have the ability to recognize when I don't even want to put myself in a situation like that. Like, it's like, okay, I could live with a friend or I could do this, but no, it's not even worth it. And I think that's also a good thing to, have the ability to recognize as well.
And I think that comes with, at least in this case I don't want to say independence, but I guess the freedom to not need it. I think back then, like in some instances, especially if we're talking about family, like you needed your family for that, like because financially you couldn't provide for yourself, all that fun stuff. And then obviously as you get older, it's almost like it's just an option that is available should you choose. It's not like the only way. Like I think when we first agreed to live together, it was because we wanted to save money, which did not happen at all. But that was the reasoning why we went into it. It's like, we can get this house and split it and like save all this money, blah, blah, blah. And then where was
But we really had a good deal. We really had a great deal if it wasn't for that landlord.
Honest look. It's funny because I deleted her number out of my contacts, but I still have the message thread should anything come up in the future. And she's like, I did it. And I was looking through messages like, who is this unsaved number? And then I looked and it was the Happy Holidays message. And I was like, oh, it's her. Yeah, had it not been for her, we would have been great.
She was so good at communicating about holidays and whatnot, but terrible at everything else. But anywho, so diving into another topic, like I said, this is like an umbrella, because this is still yet another example of how you mix professional and family, friends, relationships, all together. It's the question of when you are looking for services or like you're looking for like a good or something and dealing with family and friends, because that is mixing business with like a more personal relationship. And so give me some of your positive and not so positive experiences with mixing the mix.
So I can't think of very many friends that I've had that have started stuff that required me to like monetarily provide. I don't want to say that. That's a weird way to say it. But I provided a service that like I needed to go and blah blah blah. Like I think of like Cassidy, for instance, and her brand. I think of like Ariel and the nails and stuff that she does. Those are the only two. I mean, there was you back in the day with Swirls and Pearls. And I think that might be the only three. And I'm sorry, friends that listen, that I might have forgot about your stuff. But I think my biggest thing has always been when it comes to stuff like that. uh, I'd rather just promote it. You know,
Yeah.
that's always been my thing because one, and that's something that's big for me too. Like even now with the podcast and stuff, it's like I there's other ways to support your friends that start a whatever outside of just buying the whatever. Because word of mouth, obviously in marketing, word of mouth travels so much faster than a multitude of other things. So yes, if my friends are doing something like which I think for every one of those friends, I forgot what the third one was. Oh, yeah. For every one of those friends who have started something, I have promoted it, like told people about it. Like Cassidy and Ariel have both been on the show because of their businesses. Whenever I was doing the reunion stuff, put your stuff out there, and I think it was part of one of the gift raffles, something like that. So that's been my biggest thing. I don't know. I'm iffy on it because obviously when it's a friend, like I don't want to say they're going to treat you differently than what they would treat a normal customer. And so I'm very tiptoeing because I don't want to say, oh my God, this is the best because it's, for instance, me and you.
Yeah.
And then they treat the other person like shit, and then it makes me look bad. You know?
Yeah.
So I just try to put the word out there. That's where I go, go and check out blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to say they're the greatest thing since sliced bread because shit, they might fuck you up. But so that's been my experience. I just try to at least support them in that way. I don't think I bought anything. I can't, I said I've been saying I'm going to let Ariel do my nails, but she'd be forever away. So yeah, that's been kind of my thing. Just like promoting it, spreading the word as much as I can. But as far as like investing or like putting money towards, I don't know. I'm always iffy on that because I'm just like,
Same.
I don't know why.
So like I'm same with you in regards to like I don't necessarily always buy what it is like that they're selling or get that. I don't necessarily promote it either. I think my way of support is like helping out with the act itself. And so whether it is I'm going to help you like bag it all up or I'm going to help you like prepare or get ready for an event. I feel like that's the way that I show up because, when it comes to like showing support, obviously it's like social media is the kind of go-to and, my whole dynamic with social media. But so I feel like the way that I support when it comes to friends and family that are, either selling a service or selling a product, like I help with the like upbringing of it, I guess. And you know what?
And showing up.
Yeah, I show up. Like when we went to, help Kiara out, just like with the
grand opening.
Yeah, the grand opening. What is it called? The Big Boy Toys.
Scooters.
Yeah, the scooters. And
is that still there?
I don't know.
I didn't because yesterday we went to eat in Edo area at Rodeo Goat, which is actually really good. Whenever you come to Houston, you need to go there. But it was in that area, and I thought I passed by where I thought it was, and I didn't see it, and I was like, oh, maybe it's not here. I don't know. I wanted to ask.
I don't know. I don't think it is. I'm not sure. That chapter is far, 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 far removed from our lives now. And then another way that I can think of it is like, for instance, Chelsea, she's not really selling a product. She has her own daycare. But like the way that I show up is like for Thanksgiving, she needed an extra body like to help. Like I don't work there, but I'm like, okay, I could come. And so I love just showing up.
I'm CPR certified. I can help.
Huh? You what?
I'm CPR certified. I can help.
Let me tell you, I had my gloves on. I was passing out food. I was saying hey to everybody.
I need to go see them.
But I had just saw them before Labor Day. I had popped by there, and I just love it. It's like nanny nat. They just love me. But anywho, so yeah, I think when it comes to like my experiences with exchange of services, when I actually have bought something or whatnot from family or friends, I've had mixed experiences. And so here are kind of like my pros and cons like with that, because I do feel like a pro is there's some type of like level of comfort because you do have that relationship. So you don't have to necessarily act fake. And so I think that's a good
True.
thing. It's like my anxiety is not as like high because I already know the person. And so it's just kind of a little bit more easier to interact with them. But I feel like a downside of that is they get too lax sometimes.
Right.
And
Right.
what I mean by too lax, it could show up in like just too lax with timing. Like, you know, you said you was going to be here at 10 and you don't show up till 11:30. Or, you
Yep.
know, you say that you were going to do something, but you kind of like half do it the way that you want to do it, and you just assume that it would be okay
Or you
because
take,
we're family or
you
friends.
take 50 million breaks, and go pick up food or get your daughter or whatever like that. And I'm like, I got stuff to do too, Yep, nope. I can't say that I've been there, but I've heard of experiences from people who have told
You
me.
know, and so you like I do like it because I think now I go into it knowing that that's the expectation. So I plan accordingly. So let's say I am going into, you know, getting my hair done with my friend who I know her at this point. I am not planning anything else for the rest of the day. It is literally just going to be like a
bring in
hangout,
snacks.
chill, bring snacks. Like, and that's what I do. And it goes so much smoother and it's just like so much fun. So I will say, like, on the more positive end, just with like our business relationship, because technically we're close friends and we have a podcast together and it's like a business. I think,
so technically
one of
we're close friends? I didn't know that was a
technically, okay. Like more like roommates or ex-roommates.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But I feel like a positive or a pro that comes like within this experience is like we have shared values. And so kind of going back to what we were talking about, like in childhood, like we have shared values. We have similar work ethics and views on things. Obviously, we differ in regards to like what we bring to the table. And we've talked about that before. It's like you are more so hands-on with this because you know all of it and just kind of what it looks like. And I just show up. And that's what I do. I show up, I do what I'm told to help out.
As much as you show, don't say as you're told. Because that is not true. Because you do bring a lot to it. And I think that's knowing your friends, and it's also playing to the strengths. And that's something I think when it comes to business, because you know your friends, if you actually know your friends prior to going into it, you know what their strengths are. So you're able to better play to them. Yeah. And I think that's where this has worked. And I think growth for me specifically, because previously with this thing, I was so like, oh my God, we have to be the best. And now I think I've gotten to the point where I'm like, but for what? Like, it's fun. Like, so I think that is chilled. And I think that has also helped with just the show in general, is that like the pressure is off more so. Right. So it's just able to be a natural woo. And again, because of that, now I'm able to see clearly. And so I understand what each of us can bring. And so we play to that. But again, had there not been foundation and shared values and the ability to communicate, I don't think it would.
I don't think so either. Yeah. Like, see how our dynamic throughout this whole process has shifted over the years. And like, I could see how you
which is crazy.
Tailored your expectations because you know who I am. And so like, I appreciate that definitely. I feel like one example that sticks out to me, not in regards to you and I, but like when it comes to bartering services from family members.
Bartering. It's the Boston Tea Party.
It's kind of like an expectation that like I just have it. So an example. And I'll be open with this because I've told you about this. But like, okay, so my cousin does hair. Love him dearly. Love him to bits. Cool. Oh, great. Okay. I was planning to get a sew-in. And I had paid him $300 because I was like, here, you go buy the hair or whatever the case may be. And so I fast forward to like the hair coming in, and I sent pictures and all that good stuff. Like, hey, this is what I wanted, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward to the hair coming in. He was like, so it's a little bit like the curls are a little bit tighter than you had wanted. And I was like, okay.
Then why'd you buy it?
I'm like, okay, so you bought it, but like, I still sent you money, so what's coming?
So you gonna return it, exchange it?
So I have not addressed it yet, and I feel like that is the kind of part where, because it's family, because I don't feel the need to address it right now, because I know I'm going to get my hair done when I want to. I just don't want to right now because it's too hot to have.
You already got done, so
right. I got braids now.
Honestly,
but I was like towards.
I just said it's too hot to have a sew-in. I agreed. Like, yeah, it sure is, but I'm like, what the fuck? But it is hot as shit. Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking, like, I'm already kind of like anticipating on when that time rolls around, like how it's gonna go, because I already paid you money, so I'm not expecting to pay any more money on hair or have that money go towards the service itself, but then that's split up in two at this point. So I get my hair done twice. But anywho's, it's just, like I said, it's just interesting with the dynamic and working with friends and family and just kind of what that looks like. Well, let's jump into just kind of going back to work relationships and developing friendships. Now let's jump to like the current and kind of the future. And when I say future, I say current in regards to like workplace and friendships and kind of what that looks like. And then I say future in regards to more along the lines of like going into like family businesses and stuff. And as I was coming up with this, I was like, dang, this would have been a good episode to bring Chelsea into, which we might have a tangent from it in the future. But in regards to work relationship and going back to the beginning of, like you said, your social life has picked up expeditiously.
Woo!
Expeditiously.
Yes,
I can't even think of the words.
Expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
I see you.
And so, and as for me, mine has gone into the complete opposite because my work is just different and like what that looks like with relationships with my coworkers. And so I guess dive into the pros and cons of your friendships or development of friendships with coworkers and just kind of what has worked well and what doesn't work well.
So in my current job, this is actually for reference. No, whatever. This is my first job where my first desk job. Like all my other previous jobs post college, I've always been at accounts and I've been driving, and it's been very solo-esque, except for the last position at that last company where I did have one partner, which that didn't. Anyway, so this is the first time where I've been around a group of people for an extended period of time since Starbucks. Yeah. And so I think previously, and that changed honestly with Bree, because she was there when I first started there, and granted she left, but we're still just as close as we were, which is the first time that I've actually like clicked that quickly with someone in a very long time. Like I said yesterday, she went with me to go apartment hunting, and it's been. I started that job in 2021, so 3 years later, and she stopped working there in 2022, and we're still. So I think that kind of changed my perspective of workplace friendships was when I met her, and then we actually hung out afterwards. Like we went to, even when you were there, we went to the rodeo, and she sat with us. Yeah, it was like, okay, this is cool. And then now, fast forwarding to this lovely group of people who I genuinely do enjoy hanging with all the time. And I think the reason for that is one, more mature. It's actually a group around my age. I think previously it was always people that was either way older than me or they were younger than me in corporate settings. Well, I don't want to say corporate, Starbucks. Like there was a big age gap between me and then the others that were around me. So this group is more so around my age, and they're all Black, which praise God. And we're all one, educated, two, have money, financially stable. So it's good.
Yep.
Like we can go places, we can do stuff. It's not like, oh, I don't have any money to do that. I have to stay, like that. So it's been good. We don't talk about work, which is so nice. And so it actually, I guess maybe it's just the maturity of us being older is like being able to actually, I don't know, I guess develop a real friendship outside of work instead of just a coworkership outside of work. And I guess it also helps is with that group, as much as like I'm a contractor with the company, like me and Cassie are contractors, and they're actually employees to the company. So we don't see each other all day, every day.
That's what I was just
so
about.
It makes it easier. So when we get together, it is catching up on what's going on because you don't already know what's going on because you're not there with that person day to day. It's different with me and Cassidy because yes, we do work pretty closely together. Uh-oh, they back? Oh, because we do work closely together, but we don't do the same thing for the job. So it is like even when we do meet up outside of work, we can catch up on like what's been happening, but then we actually do have, we talk about life and stuff like that. So I think that's where the differences have come is just one, a maturity level, financial stability, and also not being next to them every day makes for a complete different experience outside of work.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Those are the three things that I feel like definitely aid in a more healthier like interaction with your coworkers as friends because especially that last one, like you said, like your roles don't necessarily like intertwine to the extent of what they do at work or their performance affecting your performance and whatnot. Why are you looking like that?
I don't know why. Because I couldn't hear. I heard nothing you said. Siri came up on my computer and it like stopped everything, and I was like, trying to play it cool.
I was just echoing what you said in regards to those three things, like money, like financially being in a different space, and then like you said, maturity level, ability to communicate. But I was saying, like I was highlighting the last one that you said, just like y'all's roles not overlapping or intertwining enough to where like their performance on something and it's going to completely affect or impact like your performance. Yeah. It's like y'all have separation within the work, but y'all just like work under the same, company. And so that's where I feel like we have completely shifted because like you said earlier, prior to this job, you've worked for companies and agencies, but like really alone, like by yourself individually. And so that's where I'm at now because obviously I work for this huge agency that's like in multiple states, but it's completely remote. We have multiple chats. Do I interact with them? No, because I'm definitely more of a face-to-face person. So I do not care. I couldn't care less what y'all got going on. That sounds so bad, but no, I'm just here to do my job and leave. But I feel like because of that, it allows for me to pour in to more of the relationships that I want to pour in because I'm not forced to interact with like them.
Fair. It's not draining your social battery.
Yeah. My situation definitely would be different if it was more of yours. Just kind of like actually wanting to hang out like with your coworkers. But
no, it's nice.
I just wanted to kind of pick your brain on like what that would look like. And so kind of, I guess, diving in the future. And I don't know if this would come up for you at all, but my mom and I have always like, she's always joking around. We should just go into business together, blah, 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 because she's a diagnostician or was now retired. And, just kind of with my background with psychology and like children and all that good stuff, we've always joked around about starting something. But now that Cato is in the mix and like we've taken a more hands-on approach to like his development along with his parents, we are like really thinking like we should just open like a daycare, just like a small in-home daycare or just like, one of those small mom and pop daycares.
My aunt used to have one.
I feel like
a long time ago.
For one, those are becoming like more and more of a thing, but I feel like not just for daycare, they're becoming more and more of a thing for just like homeschool kids because a lot of people are moving out of that realm. And Marcus and I were talking about that too. That's what made me think of this as well.
Congratulations.
We were talking about that.
Now things are connected.
I was like, but because he was like, where are you at with like the whole teacher process? Because I still do want to be a teacher, but I don't want to be one in this setting
This.
anymore. Like, and so I'm thinking, how could I apply? Because I love what it is that I do as a therapist, but I've said that before. I don't want to be a full-time therapist for forever. And thankfully, like, I could see myself being at this agency, like, in multiple phases of my life, because I can scale back on my hours and go up however often I want. And it's still salary. And so I'm like, oh, that just opens up doors to maybe I will figure out like how to, you know, create that mom and pop type of deal. But anywho's, I don't really have too much experience on what that would look like because obviously it's not happening. But I think kind of going back to what you said earlier, having those 3 like bullet points would be the deciding or determining factor of like the outcome on whether it being
it's
effective or not.
It's funny because as much as I don't have any experience in that, like I said, my aunt has, and I don't know if it's her and her mom, I'm not 100% sure, but they have a bunch of nursing homes because my aunt's a nurse practitioner. So they have a bunch of them in Beaumont, and actually they're opening another one right behind Kids Are Kids, where Chelsea is. It's already started being built. But previously, there was one that they had, and I don't think it's there anymore because normally, so my aunt and uncle used to flip houses. Like that was, I don't know how my uncle learned how to flip houses, but they used to flip them, and then they would use them for nursing homes, like for, you know, the care, whatever, like that. And so one of them that they had was kind of in the West End off of Major. And in the house, there was the nursing home. So they had the providers there. But then they had it was like a 3-car garage that they converted into a daycare. And they had at least 10 kids there. My grandmother worked there. I used to go there in the summer. Not to really work, but I just didn't have shit else to do. So went there in the summer. And so that's as far as like family business wise that is interacted. But I remember Nancy's has always had this thing. Which you've been to the house before, you see how she decorates for every fucking holiday.
Yeah.
And so she's always said that she wanted, because she's been at this, working for the city for 31 years. She started in 93 whenever we were born. So she's been there for a long time. And she's always been saying she wants to retire and she wants to open an events company. She loves decorating and stuff like that. And so back then, this was literally when I was in high school when she would talk about this, and she ain't retired yet. But I knew I liked events before I was working in events recently. And so I was always like, oh, that would be fun. We could do it together. But that's probably almost never going into fruition. But that's probably the closest that I've gotten to any type of family business. I don't think I would. I don't think I would ever go into, because of the bullet points that we have laid out, was like communication with family has always been rocking for a long time. That I just don't think it would be smart to do that.
No, I could see that. And I think this brings up another kind of like bullet point that makes it more effective, or makes it more likely that this would work out, especially with going into business, that it's not your first business. Like, for an example, for people who already have family businesses and then have kids that like join in on the family business, I feel like that outcome is completely different than like what I'm saying now. Like, I've not lived my life. I got much more life to live, but like I've done my career. I knew what direction I wanted to go into and whatnot. And this is just kind of like a second career for me that I'm thinking of like more so doing in the future and settling down. And so I feel like that plays a role into it too, because it's not necessarily something that I had to do. It's more of I want to do it.
You've built your savings and you've done all this stuff. It's not like, so if this, it kind of takes the pressure off of the family business, because if it's not like, if this doesn't succeed, I don't have anything else going for me. So then that creates the pressure of the dynamic between the owners or whatever, because then you're like pushing it's very similar to like with the podcast. It's like, now that we're like, okay, we're just doing this for fun, it takes the pressure off of it. So if things don't happen, it's like, okay. Like, right. What's the worst that could happen? What do you have to lose? I guess is the better thing. Way to put that, because you've already developed all of your other stuff. You have, I don't want to say a secondary or a backup, but it's just like, it's like, okay, this didn't work out. We did it. It was fun while it lasted. Back to, I don't want to say reality either, but back to the norm, if you will.
Like you have something to fall back on. Like you have that, like
yes,
that cushion.
1000%.
Yeah, just interesting. Well, so this is a good segue into my last question, and this is more so of bringing this topic, but how we've seen it in media, and I feel like you would have a lot to say with what that looks like, because what comes to mind is like HGTV. Like you see family and friends working so often on HGTV shows, and it goes well.
Always
but
husband
I
and
feel
wife.
like obviously it's not completely true because it's reality TV, and so some of the things are just kind of like staged or like intensified or whatever, or enhanced. But I feel like for the most part, it's either husband and wife or sisters or twin brothers, and so
mother daughter,
like you see a lot of that. I feel like what I've noticed recently, I don't know if you caught up on Bel-Air. Have you caught up on Bel-Air?
I haven't. I'm so far. I only watched season 1, which is so sad because I love the show. It was so good season 1. I just haven't went back.
Yeah, I mean it's still good now. And what is this, the 3rd season? But I think it's over now.
3rd season.
It was a good season. But this is not giving away too much. But anywho's, Carlton and Will go into business together, and you just see like they have totally different things to bring to the business, and it works well because it's like the yin and yang. But then they're cousins, they live together, they have different personalities. It's like a huge clash too, and so that was an example that came to mind. But I guess, do you have any thoughts? You live together, there's no break.
And that's for, I think the example that I'll give, and obviously I have no personal knowledge of this besides movies, but Beyonce and her dad managed her for so long. And I think in one of her documentaries, I don't remember, Life is But a Dream, she talked about like the decision to, manage herself and leave her dad. And it was she would say like, it was because there was never a break. It was like, he was always my manager and I needed my dad. So like, we get home from dinner and he want to talk about contracts and this and this. And it's like, sometimes you just need that break of like, where's my dad? Like, I just want to talk, like that. And so she's talked about that decision to leave. I've seen that. I've also, going back to HGTV, there was a show on there called Good Bones, and it was the mother-daughter team. And they end up employing, a lot of family as well on the show. And Mina, who was the daughter, they ended the show, I think like maybe last year. And she talked about the decision to end it. She would say like, and for the cameras, it made it look like everything was great, but behind the scenes, like it was a lot of pressure on me because I'm employing a lot of family. So it's like this pressure to make sure everything's going right because so many people are depending on it. So that took a toll on me. And then plus a lot of her and her mom started having different visions for the company. So that kind of broke them apart and stuff like that. And so she was very honest. I think she has a podcast too with her husband. And so she started talking about, like that process. And so, like you were saying, it may seem all woohoo in front of the cameras, but then the behind the scenes of reality TV, that's always interesting. And that's something I think that I've also said, like with us before, it was like, I don't want it to become every time we're together. So for the podcast, are we going to be we need to continue a friendship so that there is life outside of this shit. And so I think that's where, like you were saying with Will and Carlton, it's like you live with this person, you work with this person. It's like you just have to have the ability to turn off your business brain and actually just be a friend or a family with this person. Because if it's everything is business, you're eventually going to resent working with them. Because it's like there's never any time to just breathe. And I think that's a big thing. I don't know in those other situations if that happens. Obviously, Beyonce said yes, and then Mina and them were kind of talking about it. But I think just having the ability to just separate, which is very hard to separate business and personal. But I think just being able to just take a break. Everything can't be business. Because even with me, I don't want to talk about this shit every day. But it's just like, okay, let's put that on the back burner. Yeah. How's life? Which I guess we're also
maturity and being able to set those boundaries.
And I think in our situation, it's slightly easier because we can get on here and talk about life and what's going
Yeah.
on. As much as it is a quote unquote business, it's still like us just catching up, which I think is
Right.
what makes this easier. Because as much as, yeah, okay, there's a mic in my face, it's still just like we just talking about, especially on the shoot the shit episodes, like what the fuck is going on in life, like how it, like it's
Exactly.
just normal conversation that just happens to be recorded. It's not like we sit here and, okay, so I'm going to talk about this and then you're going to respond this. Like we're not planning out the episodes like this, to where it's literally just a natural conversation, which I think, I don't know how you would translate that into other types of businesses. Like when you're doing stuff, I guess that would determine what kind of business you go in with your friends, which is a
Exactly.
whole
Yeah. I
different
think that matters.
conversation when you're planning that. But I think this just worked because it is just like we are ourselves just on camera.
Which reminds me, I will talk about this outside of recording, but I need to set a weekend to come out there and just hang.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. I've been
Like
saying
me,
that for
you,
like
and
18,000 years.
Paris,
And then,
like to figure
yeah,
out
well,
like
I'm
hang
going
out.
to see her too. But yes, we do.
Mhm.
Even though you booked and busy for the next 18 weeks, it's like, you know, at some point, you acting like me. Who are you?
Yeah, it's a bit much. But anywho,
Mhm.
that
It is.
concludes just my episode for today. Just wanted to pick your brain. I feel like that's my favorite phrase. Pick your brain on a couple of things.
I love picking people's brains. It's like my favorite thing to do. I love asking questions. That's why I love our episodes where we get to interview people, because I was like, I'm so curious into the and going into therapy. My therapist is like, you just want to understand the why, and I'm like, maybe I have always wanted to know, and that's why I've always been so curious and just asking a bunch of questions, because I actually just like, what made you think to do that? Which is why I think I loved the thought of psychology, like understanding the mind of people, because I just want to know why. Like, why did you do that? What made you think of that? How does that work? I don't know. That's always been my little thing. Yeah, fun times.
Going back to the beginning, did you ever recall what your melanin moment was?
I think the reason I didn't remember it is because I think I decided to put it in my planning of things, because again, as much as the meds are helping, it still hasn't. Some of the lines are still crossed, but I think I decided to put it at the mental health moment, and that's
okay.
Yeah. Oh yes, I did say that because I was like, I think we need to like restructure this melanin moment thing, because I mean I'm not gonna say we barely do it, but we kind of barely do it. So maybe that'll change. Ooh, spoiler alert for season. Is it 4? What season?
Is it 4?
Yeah, season 4.
Yeah.
No, this is season 3.
No. Going spoiler. Going into.
Yes. I was like, yeah, that maybe that'll be different. Which I guess at some point we do discuss that too, but not today. But yes, was there anything else you want to add to your topic before we, start closing out and all that fun jazz?
No, like I said, I think this concludes it. Just wanted to open that door for conversation about this. Like I said, it was so many different tangents, but it's like it's under the umbrella of just like, is this a good mix? So.
Fair. Good episode. I'm actually, and I say this all the time, I don't know why I enjoy your episodes more than mine. Maybe because the pressure is off of me to come up with something.
That part.
Even though I will say I have gotten better, like which I think I said before my last episode, and actually like planning out my episodes. I think the drugs actually help. So I'm actually excited for not next week, but the following episode, because I think it's a topic that I've had up here for a long time that I've finally put on paper and have kind of started mapping out. So it should be an interesting episode when it comes back to so get ready for that. But yes, I don't know. I enjoy your episodes because I can just, but yes, our lovely mental health moment is courtesy of lovely Natalie. Because I was sitting back and the mental health moment, I'll say what it is first, and then I'll give the explanation as to why. And then I almost kind of want to get some of your opinion too on it, or some of your thoughts. And the mental health moment is sometimes you have to put yourself first. And the reason that, the reason I thought about, I don't know what sparked it, like where the thought in my head came from. But like I said, it was with you, because also I was thinking we're officially at the age where we have known each other for more than half of our lives, which is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, insanity. And I was thinking, and it might have been because you told me what you were doing for your birthday. And yes, I think that's what sparked this. And I think, oh God, I'm trying to say that, but it has been because I've known you for so long and to see your growth, it's been nice because I feel as though you actually are doing that for like, I don't want to say the first time in your life, but the first time that I've noticed it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been so nice as your friend to see that trajectory of you finally, you know, right? Don't you cry. Don't you cry. You already cried once on this show. Um, of seeing that trajectory of putting yourself first as well as just allowing good things to happen for you. And maybe it's just a knowing your worth kind of thing. I don't know what it is,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been nice to see that. And I think it's almost in a way inspired me to just allow certain things in, which I was previously very close on to. So yeah, so I don't know. I don't want you to go into too much details. Hey, twin. But can you, what has sparked that change? Like what triggered that? And, or do you even notice that? Is it just an
No,
outward thing
I
that I
definitely
noticed?
do. I think so. I definitely do notice it, and I appreciate you for noticing it as well, because that's helpful and reassuring for me. I think for me, and this sounds so bad, but just like not caring about what other people think. Granted,
Which is
not
putting
all
yourself first.
completely. But I think it's more
Okay.
so of like, if this is something for me and I'm not like intentionally hurting somebody or intentionally disrespecting somebody, but it's just something that I want to do, the people who love me and care about me are gonna be okay with it. And like, so for example, my birthday, I have never really been the one to want to
Ever.
celebrate my birthday.
That's, I tell you, that's what triggered this.
And I feel like it always put so much pressure on, like when people are like, what are you doing for your birthday? What are you doing for your birthday? I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to go out to eat. But then I will literally go to the same restaurant all the time. But I'm like, oh, I got to change it up because like they're coming and they want to dress up and this and that. And it's just like, you know, I realized that was just me putting the pressure on myself. Like that's not really like anybody else. Because every time I like would bring it up in the past, all of my friends are like, well, it's your birthday. Do what you want to do. I'm like, well, come, just let us know. And I'm like, So fast forward to this go round, I'm literally just doing nothing and just going away and like literally hanging out. Like I want to wake up in a different place and drink coffee and sit out and listen to the birds, maybe go for a hike. I don't even want to just like pick up my phone. Like I'm just super excited just to like chill. And then obviously come back and go eat at Cafe Del Rio. Guys, your girl needs her margaritas.
Which I'm
and I'm
pretty sure, depending upon, because we just got an email this morning, and we can talk about this after too, about a potential tropical disturbance coming in late next week or weekend. My plan is to come out there that on Friday because I'm off, and stay until probably Monday. So let me know. But depending on what this whatever does,
okay, yeah,
but that's good. Again,
so
I think it was when we had that conversation when you told me what you were doing, and I was just like, look at you, look at you. So yeah,
and I will say,
this
so
like which
at you. I've noticed it within you as well, just with the whole like the whole shifts in like social interaction. Like for one, I think these people that you're around are just good and great people in general. Like I said, I've had the privilege of being able to be around them for your birthday, and it was just like a fun, good time. It was no like catty or no just like snarky like behavior. Nothing. It was just I am jumping in this water.
Vibes.
I'm taking this shot. It was just so much
good
fun.
Vibes.
So, I will say, like, I'm glad that you're embracing that more too. And like you said, you have been booked and busy. You talk about me, you.
I don't know how intentional. I mean, it's intentional, but I don't know how. Yes, it is taking a toll, which is why I'm like, if the hurricane does come next weekend, I will not be mad at staying in this house. Because I don't know when else I'm going to get a break because these people do not know stay in the house. Like, we ain't had a movie night ever. I'm like, can we just watch some TV?
Can we just stay
yeah.
in, make some popcorn, have a drink?
Please. But yes, so no, I think that's triggered my just being able to put yourself first in the sense of, like you said, like not worrying about what other people are thinking, just doing the things that you want to do for you. And I think that is, like I said, has kind of been trickling down to me. And I think it's also become like me, like taking a step away from social media and all because I just feel like this is also the first time with me taking a social media break that it wasn't triggered by, I don't want to like something
a negative event,
like depression. Yeah, it wasn't like I'm depressed because this happened. It was just me just being like, I have so much going on, just like from work, like with the new position, with getting ready to move, preparing for these trips, the podcast, like all this. I was like, I'm visually overstimulated by so much that I was like, I have to cut down some stuff because then also it's a distraction. And so I'm like, I just need to focus on things. So like I've slightly cut out alcohol, only drink once a week now. So that's been fun. And then no social media. And so I've just been like, just trying to focus and like reconnect with self too. And just be like, what does Tej want?
Exactly.
What does Tej want?
Exactly.
And so, and I think the conversation of what you're doing for your birthday kind of triggered like, you know what? It's time for you to do what you want to. So it's kind of to me.
What is it?
Further down. So yeah, that's one.
Lucius, is that?
Yeah. I gotta put me first, Lucius. I do gotta put me first. So yeah, that was my mental health moment. For the lovely people out there too, is just don't be afraid to put yourself first. It's not selfish. It's, what do they say? What's the cliche? It's not selfish. It's selfful. Yeah. I'm sure that's like Brene Brown or something that said that. But yeah, that is my mental health moment. Do you have anything else you want to add to the whole anything in general before we, close this bad boy out?
No, I think we touched on pretty much everything that like I personally wanted to touch on in regards to this episode. But then also just with your input and everything, I think it made it a bit well-rounded. So I am good on that.
Agreed. Good. Well, if that is the case, be sure to follow us on social media. Let us know your thoughts actually in the comments on either TikTok or Instagram, or send us a DM and let us know your thoughts on, working with family, working with friends, and like those boundaries of things. And let us know if you agree with our takes or if you disagree. Yeah. We love the discourse in a respectful way, I will say, because we are not afraid to block. But yeah, so follow us at Crazy Little Pod on Instagram and TikTok. And then be sure to subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere else you get podcasts, rate the show, all that fun jazz. If you have a question for us or would like some advice from us two cuckoo birds, you can send it to askcrazylittlepod@gmail.com, and we will potentially read it out loud on the show. We only got, we've gotten 3 letters total this season, and we would love some more. Add some stuff so that we don't have to talk as much about our lives.
We can talk about us. We love it.
Yes, we do. But on that note, we will get out of here, and we will see y'all in 2 weeks where we'll officially be in October, and Natalie will officially be 31. I don't know if when the next episode comes out, you'll be in Miami or not, but yeah, we will see y'all lovely people in 2 weeks.
Yeah, bye.